Hey guys, how's it going? Eli here, back with another video where today we're going to be talking about some massively exciting news in regards to Evolving Skies, reprints, and more. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So as always, getting out of the way, if you want to enter into our weekly giveaways, all you have to do is be subscribed, leave a like, and comment down below on any of the videos we post each and every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And of course, you can also enter in multiple times by commenting and liking on each of the videos. And then we're also going to have 3 winners each and every week that are each going to be receiving 10 booster packs of Pokemon Go. So multiple opportunities to win, multiple opportunities to enter. So super exciting, of course, to jump right into the topic of Evolving Skies, guys. Reprint is officially here. So for those people that were wondering, obviously we had a discussion, I don't know, I want to say sometime near the end of May, where basically I made a prediction that, you know, we were going to hear some sort of news about Evolving Skies reprints relatively soon. You know, it just made sense to me that something like this was going to happen. The announcement came in, we were told we were going to be getting some for the month of August. Now, that was supposed to be early August, and as you can see, it's not even halfway into July, and we're getting them a little bit early. So hopefully you guys are excited for some early Evolving Skies booster box prices to, you know, drop sooner than expected. Now, with that, of course, being said, the real question we're going to have to ask ourselves is, how much is this going to more than likely drop? Obviously, as we can see right now, just kind of looking at the recent prices from end of last month to now, you've seen a decent amount of price drop. But realistically, we found out about this news, or at least I found out about this news, I want to say about a week ago. So we haven't really seen a significant price drop in the past week. One thing that is kind of fun to see, however, is you see some higher sales supply of some of these other places. Like this guy is 123. This guy's got 12, 19, 10. So you're seeing more and more of like multiple ofs on TCG Player, which goes to show that we have a decent amount of supply, regardless of what, of course, the allocations were for myself. Those people that are wondering, my allocation amount for, I had 2 distributors. One of my distributors, it was 8 booster boxes. Another one, it was 6, so aka a case. So the expected supply from my own personal experience from both distributors, this is going to be a small reprint wave. However, as we've seen before with both Vivid Voltage, Darkness Ablaze, I got a small amount allocated to me, and the price of those still dropped 60+%. Obviously, not to say that this is going to drop 60%, because a booster box is different than Elite Trainer box when it's, you know, going triple above MSRP, because, you know, Darkness Ablaze was selling for like $140 at one point, so $140 all the way down to, you know, $30 versus, you know, percentage wise versus, you know, let's say 200 all the way down to the same percentage. Like, that's just not going to happen, you know, because it's different percentage points based off of the actual value that you acquired from the drop. So of course, with that all being said, what is the price expectation? That's what everyone's going to be asking. Eli, what do you kind of expect as far as it goes for the price to drop at? So first stop, I'm going to say Evolving Skies is probably going to go to 120. I don't think that's very unrealistic to say. I could be, of course, 100% off base with this. Once again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. But considering we're currently $28 away, that's about, you know, a 15% roughly drop. I don't think that's extremely unrealistic. 15% is a very small drop in the, or, you know, drop in the bucket when you consider the fact that we've had so many bigger drops, even with reprints as small as something like this one from what we know. I think that, of course, this is a very much high demand set. I think there'll be an expectation that you'll see more of this being reprinted down the line, or there's going to be, of course, more reprints to come shortly. You know, there's absolutely no way of knowing at this point. I can just tell you with the information that I have from both my distributors as well as what my, you know, allocation amount that I know. But I wouldn't be stunned if we did see this go back down to $100. I know some people think that's crazy, but I talked about this a while back when talking about how the Pokemon charts tend to look a lot like trading charts. I had said that if you look at the prior all-time high and you look at the last all-time high, we weren't able to close the gap above that. And what did we do instead? From a charting perspective, we made a low that was lower than the previous, and then we made a lower high, and then we're going down. So it sounds crazy to think about, but it's been so far pretty accurate when looking at a downtrend on a chart. Now, obviously, this one's a little bit slower because this was right after a reprint wave, like an initial like 1, 2, wave 3 kind of system. You have your general reprints, and then you have your general like wave system for an initial release. This was an initial release wave that came out, and so this is a reprint wave. So it's going to look a little bit different, especially since it's going to be a lot smaller of supply. So just something to take really into consideration. But I digress with that. I think this trend is just going to continue to go down in the near future. So honestly, I'm excited. For those people that are wondering when I'm going to be picking up these Evolving Skies booster boxes, honestly, that's a great question, because if I'm being completely honest, I'm going to be extremely patient. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad idea to pick up at 120, because if you watch some of my older videos back when the prices were going up from 100 to 120, I had told people that 120 was still not a bad price long term to pick it up. But I had said that for myself, $100 and 105 was kind of my price point, and anything below that is even better. So in all honesty, you know, if you can get it for around that price, if hypothetically it does drop to that, or you want to be, you know, a certain level of patient, I think that's going to be, you know, a good entry price for most people. Not to mention the fact of the matter, you have to also take into consideration we're going into more than likely a recessionary period. I mean, they just made an announcement basically for the month of June. We had 9.01% inflation rate, which is the highest inflation rate we've seen in a very long time. So inflation rate is still going up, even though the basis points for interest has continued to go up as well. So really shows you the direction in which this market is headed. So with that, of course, you got to make the assumption that there's more than likely not going to be any sort of a explosive, you know, boom in this market for a while, considering the fact that retail is so heavily tied in to the prices, of course, of general stocks and commodities and so on and so forth. So I feel pretty confident to say that, you know, Evolving Skies, although it is a high demand set, and although it'll probably perform extremely well regardless of what recessionary period you're in and whether you're in an inflationary period, I think it's still going to have, of course, a very much slower rate of return, just based off of the fact of the factors going on in the markets right now. So either way, at the end of the day, Evolving Skies, we're finally getting the print early. We're finally going to be able to get access to this product. So that's extremely exciting. Of course, I'm also going to be asked the question as well, Eli, when do you think would be the best time for me to start buying these singles? Because obviously the price of singles have gone up so much over the past, 6 months since we had our last, or 7 months since we had our last print. And so for that reason, honestly, I know people might not like the answer to this. So sorry, I keep yawning. But I think that you have to still be patient on this one, because in all honesty, guys, I personally believe that when you're talking about the $18 price adjustment that we're now getting from PSA, you really think that with that much of a price drop that all of a sudden people are not going to want to send in a lot of their ultramodern cards, specifically from Evolving Skies, in for grading, and then that's not going to increase the supply of 10s and 9s and then drop the price because the demand is not there for how high the supply is? And what are you saying to yourself? Once it gets to a point where PSA 9 prices drop so much that the raws begin to be more expensive than the PSA 9 prices, something's going to have to give. And since the supply is going up for 9s, it only makes sense that the price of raw is going to crash. So I'm honestly going to be still extremely patient, and I'm waiting for that huge correction, because you shouldn't have graded cards, specifically 9s, being the same price as raw. That just doesn't make sense to me. So obviously my computer is having a really fun time being extremely laggy. I would love to show it to you guys on a different screen. But for those people that don't know, when we took a look about it not that long ago, it does look like it's actually a TCG player issue. So we'll go over to Pokedata right now. But I think an example we used was the Leafeon. I could be 100% off base with this, but let's kind of check it out. looking at Raw versus PSA 9, I mean, look at this, guys. There was at a time where the Raw card was selling more than the, PSA 9 variation. Obviously, once they kind of crossed down, they made that correction, but they're still so close together, You can easily go and spend an extra $15 for the 9. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Obviously, a little bit of a bigger split between the 10s and the Raw, which if there wasn't as big as a split, then we would be having issues, to say the least, because that's just not how it should be when you're talking about splits between 10s and 9s and Raw. But, honestly, end of the day, you're just going to say to yourself that there needs to be a bigger divide between the two of these. You shouldn't be seeing such a drastic cross, especially when you talk about the fact that the PSA 9s for this card, there's only 27. That's very low for 9s compared to 10s, which obviously, more people were sending in 10s because they were wanting to have that confident grade that they were going to get because prices were higher. And now you're more than likely going to see, with the $80 price point, the increase in overall 9s go up in the populating supply because people are just, going to be sending them in by mass, hoping to be able to, of course, make a return on it, which, you got to really ask yourself if the risk to reward ratio is there. When you hit a 9, you're losing money. So now the divide in some of these other cards, it's not as great, thankfully, but it's still one that, it should be a bigger divide. Because, for example, with this one, there was never a cross. But you're telling me, once again, $25 is the spread difference on this one. As far as the Umbreon goes, the spread difference between the 9s and the Raw, $50 difference. So you're just not getting that value if you're sending them in and only getting 9s, which, of course, we never want to shoot for 9s, but we have to be prepared for that. So this spread's going to have to just give, guys. I think that the price of these Raw cards are just going to have to go down because the supply is going to increase for these cards. There's no doubt about it. Because, I mean, guys, when you talk about this set, right? And like I said, my Evolving Skies, it's being a little laggy right now. Hopefully it'll start to catch up. All right, looks like it is. When you're telling me you have a set where you have a $300 card, $200 card, $80 card, $80 card, like, you've got cards that, I mean, let's see if it actually is higher than that, because that's lightly played. If we look at near mint, okay, so it is going for around $80. But the point I guess I'm trying to make with this is, like, these cards, yeah, this one's going for 127. You have so many cards that are valued over $100. And you have so many cards that are valued for 50 plus bucks, right? That's insane to me. The value that you're getting off of, opening up these packs and pulling one of the secret rares is incredible. They're so expensive. It shouldn't be this way, guys. It shouldn't be that you have this many cards that are this expensive. And so there's a correction that's going to give as more people are going to, of course, send them in for grading, as more people are going to open up cards that are going to be added into supplies. So it's very much like a setup right now, right? We're getting the reprints, we're getting the lower prices for grading, and so everything is really setting up for a correction on a lot of these Raw cards and a lot of these PSA graded card prices. So I'd say be patient. Obviously, we don't know what the turnaround time is currently for the bulk $18 pricing, but I will tell you guys, as it stands right now, be patient in regards to waiting on these Raw card prices, or at least that's what I'm going to be doing to try and get it at cheaper prices. But outside of Raw, just talking about sealed, like I said before, I'm not going to fault you if it does go down to 120 and you buy it, but I'm still going to be patient because with the direction in which the economy is, pointing right now, I think we've got a lot of downside still to go, regardless of how big of a supply print we're going to get, because it's a high demand set. We're probably going to see more. Now, some interesting other news, and which has not been calculated into the market right now, but I will still show it on this page just so you guys can get an image. I had some old supply pop up for myself of both Cosmic Eclipse as well as Burning Shadows product. Specifically, Cosmic Eclipse is the one I really want to point out because of how expensive Cosmic Eclipse build and battles are. But obviously, if you look at the price of them, last one sold, it's been a couple months, very low sales volume. But you've got about 1 page of them listed, right? And of course, we can always look on other pages and stuff, but I don't have much time, so I won't compare. But just for the sake of the argument, they're expensive. We know that, right? I was able to recently buy them. I bought 5 cases of them for $129 a piece. For most ultra modern cases, I usually am paying around $144. I got Cosmic for almost $20 less than what I usually get for wholesale. That's insane, guys. That is insane. I don't know why that happened. I don't know how I got so many. I mean, guys, just do the math. 5 times 40. That's 200 packs. And on top of that as well, I also got some portfolio binders for dirt cheap too. You know, I doubt I'm the only one that got this many, you know, Cosmic Eclipse packs. That equates to basically, I mean, just do the math. It equates to around 6 booster boxes worth. A case is worth. I gotta assume that you're gonna see some price corrections on that relatively soon. I could be wrong. Maybe I was lucky and somehow I was one of the guys that ended up getting all the product. But you're really seeing a common theme right now with distributors where they're getting rid of a lot of their product because Pokemon is struggling right now to put out product that people want. And now, obviously, we'll go over the review on Friday for what, of course, Lost Origins is going to be because Lost Abyss has just been, you know, they're finally having all the cards start to get released today. We're going to see more throughout the week. But, you know, Astro was fine. Pokemon Go was a big dud. And all the stuff in between, like the more Peko V, the Boltund Vs, the Pikachu Vs, no one cares about that stuff. Obviously, you guys know I had a Lucario Cleaver bundle not that long ago where I was basically flash selling it for as cheap as I could because my distributor sold it to me for buy one, get one free. I'm also going to be getting a ton of more Peko V Union boxes in because my distributor was doing a deal where based on your overall volume that you had purchased within the past year, they were literally giving it away as like a thank you. So I got $300 worth of free product because they just can't sell it because literally no one's buying it, even at discounted 25% off prices because the product is so bad. So yeah, it just makes it really tough when people are just literally not buying at these wholesale level prices. So something's got to give, right? Pokemon companies either got to get creative, they got to come out with another really good set. You know, I think Lost Origins is going to be a good set based off of what we've seen right now from Secret Rares. Like I said, we'll go over it later by the end of the week. But we're really hoping that that V-Star versus VMAX set that's coming later this year, it's going to have to blow up. It's going to have to be one of these amazing sets because the way in which the direction of the market is going for both, you know, Pokemon as well as stocks and cryptos and so on, something's really got to be able to give. And right now, it's just not looking pretty whatsoever. So we're going to have to find some really strong product to come out relatively soon, or else you're going to start to see flash sale prices on a lot of Pokemon product that we haven't seen since basically before COVID. For those people that were around during that time when, you know, XY era product was everywhere. Evolutions booster boxes, dirt cheap, couldn't get rid of them. And I think that's going to be the future, and I think you're going to start to see those corrections. And I know a lot of people don't like to admit that because you do have a lot of investor types that think everything's going to go to the moon and there's no such thing as downward actions. And that's just not the reality of the situation. Now, of course, that's to say Ultramodern is going to be different than like older product, like vintage. But as I talked about on yesterday's live stream with WotC cards, WotC products are still going to get hit hard as well. We took a look at the price of the first edition Lugia PSA 9 and saw it's dropped over 60% and it's continuing to drop. So Ultramodern is not going to be any prettier. So I feel pretty confident, especially since they've pushed back the rotation for, you know, till early next year or until further notice off, that we're probably going to see a large amount of reprints for Ultramodern product, especially for those ones that have been going up in price. So, you know, this is we're going into a buyer's market, guys. We're going into a patience market where this is really going to be the time to start accumulating wealth through investing in a lot of this product because, you know, prices are going to come down. I don't know, of course, like I said before, it's funny to see this chart. It's not it looks a lot gnarlier than it is. It's about like, you know, a $1 drop, which is technically 10% compared to the pack price. You know, 50 cents from what we actually saw with recently sold. So it's about a 5% drop, but it'll be interesting to see if we can see the price of these Cosmic Eclipse packs goes down, considering how amazing of a set this is. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. Same thing also happened for me with Burning Shadows. We can go take a look at that real quick, and this is kind of where we're gonna wrap up the point for the video. But I got some Burning Shadows old product that kind of popped up. I don't think you're also gonna see that immediate effect. If you do, that'd be awesome. But yeah, my expectation is you're really gonna see it from more of Cosmic, in regards to them having a, you know, old supply. It's not a reprint, guys. It's just old supply found. Please be aware of that. But old supply found of Cosmic Eclipse products. So it'd be really nice to see some of that pop up. Because for those that don't remember, last time we had a build and battle. Now, granted, it was build and battle cases, not just build and battles. But last time we had, you know, build and battle pre-release kits for Fates Collide and Lost Thunder. We know what happened with that. So this is only build and battles this time. This is not booster boxes. I repeat, this is not booster boxes as well. So it's going to be a little bit different, but if we can get the dollar cost average down for the pack value, then that'd be absolutely great. And of course, you know, looking at prices, I remember when this Pikachu card was going for like 70 bucks. So, you know, it'll be really fun to see, of course, if this can continue to go down, because look at the trend for this card, right? Just within the past year alone, it's gone from 50 to 32. It was even higher at some point prior to that. Let's see if we can take a look on Pokedata. See if they have the, you know, history on the raw value of it. Of course, we don't know if they can go far that back because they're still relatively new, but let's just see what we have. Taking a look at the raw value of the card, 51 bucks looks like is what we're seeing here. I could have sworn at one point it did sell for 60 plus, but you know, not that far off. But yeah, no, sales price on this one is still continue to go down. Arceus Palkia Dialga, this one's an interesting one. This one has actually gone up. I think it's because it's competitively viable. That's probably why. In the expanded format, even though it's not in the current standard rotation. But then you've got also, of course, the Piplup Secret Rare as well. This one's also seen a huge tanking after going up and shooting up in price a ton. So will be very fun to see, basically, with a lot of these cards if you're going to start to see a lot of price corrections. Because for cards that are not that old, you'd like to think that they're going to be a little bit more affordable, to say the least. So, but as far as it goes, though, kind of wrapping up the main points once again of the video, we've got reprints confirmed for Evolving Skies coming this month a little bit earlier. My expectation is 120, of course. Not financial advice, not financial advisor. If you can get it for that price, then that's fine. I'm not going to fault you, but I'm going to be patient, waiting for 105, 100, however long it takes, whether it be a couple months to a year. I think we're going to see that price again, especially with all the market conditions we're seeing in the economy right now. And then the next point as well with that is now is definitely not the time to buy singles. I'm going to be more patient on buying singles because PSA dropped their price down to 18 bucks. That's huge news because you're going to see that overlap start to spread between the PSA 9 price and raw graded prices. And then lastly, going with, of course, we found some old supply of build and battle boxes for the Cosmic Eclipse product. So expectation is that they're also going to see a little bit more of a price correction on that. So super excited about both of those things, considering how high demand both of those sets are. But as always, I'll keep you guys up to date on everything. And then Friday's video, like I discussed last time, we're going to finally go over all the secret rares for Lost Origins once they officially get announced. But as always, if you want to enter into our weekly giveaways, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, be subscribed to the YouTube channel. You can comment and like on each video for multiple entries, and then we've got 3 winners as well. So 3 opportunities to win and 3 opportunities to enter. But as far as it goes, that is all for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Until then, I will see you all on Friday. Peace.